Hey, how's it going, bros? Today I'm going to check out this flight simulator. This is X-Plane 11, and the flight plan today is to take off from a small countryside region in France and fly straight to Zurich in Switzerland. As you notice, we have this beautiful weather with thunders and lightnings and strong wind, stormy weather, and what to say. I tried to communicate with the air traffic controller, but in this flight simulator, it is really difficult to communicate with them because it takes lots of technical information, and I don't have that knowledge. I tried, but I really have to study a little bit more about technical informations. Let me get into it. I had no good throw today. So let's set the airplane for the takeoff. It's really important that you set your autopilot before you take off, because after you take off you will have no time to do a thing. So it's really important to set your autopilot while in ground. So today we have 5,000 feet for our altitude. We have 250 knots of speed, and we are flying through LNAV. So let's create a flight plan in our FMC computer, and notice that when we create our flight plan, the airplane will create a path. This is screen here, and this path will lead us to our destination, Zurich in Switzerland. So our origin airport is going to be the airport with the code let me clear SQ. That's our origin, and then our destination is going to be the airport with the code LSZH. And then when I set the destination, notice that the airplane will create a path. Take a look. Take a look right here. See? The right line here is our path, straight to our destination. I can decrease the range so you can see the whole way to our destination. That's the whole way to our destination right here. So the range is 40 maybe nautical miles. I don't know, I'm not sure. So this big white triangle is our airplane, and those small blue triangles is other airplanes, the air traffic around. So as you can see, there is lots of airplanes flying around. That's why it's so important to have traffic controllers guiding everybody in order not to let anyone crash the airplane. So the red thing here is really terrible clouds. So very important to avoid red clouds in the screen. Do not fly into the red clouds, never. Always go around them, never fly into them, otherwise you could literally fall from the skies. That's actually what happened in a real airplane accident. The pilots they flew into very stormy clouds, like these red clouds here in the screen, and the airplane literally fell from the skies. For some reason, I don't remember. Because of ice, I don't know. I don't remember. So after setting your autopilot, it's very important to set flaps. So flaps, in this case, 20 or 30 degrees of flaps. You can check out the flaps degrees right here. So to calculate how much flaps you need, you have to calculate the weight of the airplane, how many passengers, how many bags and fuel, and the weight of the fuel also. And then you have, but the good news is that the airplane calculates that for you. So I'm not calculating it today because I don't know how to do it, but I know that in real life, pilots they do that. So that's our flight plan. Let's set also a cruise speed and cruise altitude. Cruise altitude is going to be 5,000 feet. Because it's going to be a short flight, it's going to be 5,000 feet. So in 5,000 feet, the airplane is saying that 250 knots is the best speed. So let's follow the airplane indication and the knots which the airspeed. So I think we are all done for taking off, and let's now take off. So as I told you before, I tried to communicate with the air traffic controller, but I don't know how to do that properly. So if you will, just pretend that the first officer is communicating with the air traffic controller, and as for me, as the pilot flying the airplane, I'm not communicating with them. So now let's get the full throttles. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I really forgot the parking brakes. I really forgot to release the parking brakes. So now parking brakes is released. So let's get full throttle again. Full throttle. And always remember to avoid red clouds in the screen. We don't need full throttle for taking off. We only need 140 knots for U1 speed. So when we get 140 knots, we start to climb. We push the nose up. Right now, 140 knots. V1, rotate. Gear up. Or not now. Or now, gear up. Take a look. That's so nice. That's really beautiful graphics. Notice the details, how the heat come out from the engines. I love how detailed this flight simulator is. Let's get back into the cockpit, not to get wet. So really nice. Now let's turn on the autopilot. To do that, you need to turn on the flight director right here, flight director in both sides, and then you turn on the autopilot. Didn't work. Turn off the flight director. Now turn on the flight director once more, and then turn on the autopilot. Now it's green, it means the autopilot is on, but it's not really on unless you turn on the other components of your autopilot. For example, you have to turn on the autothrottle, then you have to turn on the speed switch, and also turn on the altitude switch. And in order to get to your altitude, you should set an altitude, a vertical speed, which is going to be 1,200 feet per minute. So now turn on the vertical speed, and then set your climb speed, which is going to be 1,200 feet per minute. So now you are all set. I just forgot the LNAV. Remember, the airplane created a flight path, so it won't work unless you turn on your LNAV switch right here. Now the airplane starts to follow the path it was created in the flight planner, in the flight plan here in the FLMC computer. Now you can make sure everything is on. Taking a look on the screen, LNAV is on, altitude hold is on, and the speed, autothrottle is also on. Remember, we want to avoid red clouds, so something to think about. Gear is up. Now let's start to remove our flaps. So we remove flaps gradually, not everything in just 1 minute. It's gradually. But in this case, I'm going to remove it everything in just one time because I don't want to do it gradually because it's not necessary in this simulation. Here we can see the fuel. That's our fuel temperature. The total of fuel is 20.1, actually 21.5. That's our total, which is enough for this flight, which is going to be a short flight. Actually, we are 67 nautical miles away from our destination. So this pink line here is our path to our destination right there. So the airplane is turning around and lining up with this path in order to fly straight to our destination. As you can see here, we have a lot of rain and stormy weather, which makes even more interesting in my opinion. See the sound of the ice? It's very important to avoid ice. Very important to avoid ice. So see how close we are to the red clouds. Really dangerous. Never fly into red clouds. Always avoid them. It's really important. That's what makes me really excited about flight simulators. They are really real. I'm always watching on YouTube channels with real pilots flying airplanes, and I'm really amazed at how detailed these flight simulators they are, how close they are to real pilot, to real airplane pilot, to real airplanes, uh, how they are really close to the way you fly a real airplane. That's what I wanted to say. So now we are right now we are 58 nautical miles away, flying at the speed of 250 knots. So remember, now at this point you might be wondering how you are going to visualize your runway. How are you going to see where you are going? How? The answer is you really don't need to see where you are going because the airplane is through the clouds. How? For landing in such a terrible weather, we call it catch-free landing, when you have zero visibility. To do that landing, to perform that landing, you have to tune your airplane with the runway antennas frequency, which is the runway have antennas and they send signals to the airplane that are coming in each direction, and then the airplane is able to understand whether it's higher, lower, more to the left, more to the right, and in this way the airplane is able to land itself automatically. So to do that, the only thing you need to know is the ILS frequency. In this case, we only push the N bottle in the keyboard. That is us right here, and that is going to be our destination right here. That's our destination. No, actually, that's not our destination. Actually, where is? Good question. Did I get lost? Wait, let me take a look at the touchline once more. Alright, I'm kinda lost. Did I get lost? Maybe. That's me, of course. Where is my airport destination? Where is my destination? Where is it? Is it? Ah, that's it. Wow, it's kind of far. Oh, it's here. Oh. So, this arrow is our runway. But you can never approach it from the dual side. You should always approach it from the larger side, because if you approach from the dual side here, you won't connect to the antenna signal, to the ILS signal, because the antennas, they are in here, and the antennas are here. And they are sending signal to this direction, not to the opposite direction. So always approach from the larger side of the arrow, never from the dual side. In this case, we're coming from this direction, from the left. So the best runway, in my opinion, is this one here. The runway F14, we have ILS Patch 3. It's perfect for this weather. Why? Because ILS Patch 3 means that we are able to land the airplane with zero visibility. So that's our runway of destination. So now only thing I have to do is to tune to nav1. So just click here. nav1 now is tuned 111.75. Let's make sure. Taking a look on the radio. Alright. Here is our frequency 111.75. So nav1 is yellow, it means it's on. So now we are really tuned to our ILS frequency. Let's get back to our seat. So right now, what is the next step? Once you tune to your ILS frequency, you have to line up with the runway. So did you notice that we are not lined with our runway? To be lined with it, we should be coming from this direction here. So to do that, I only need to turn a little bit to the left, fly straight, and then turn on to the right, and then I will be flying straight to our runway. So let's now turn a little bit to the left, heading 50 degrees. How do I know the degrees I should fly? Because right now we are flying 99 degrees, 98 degrees. So more to the left means less. So 50 degrees should be more or less like here. Let me switch the range, increase the range. So 50 degrees should be more or less here. So let me do that. Turn off the LNAV and turn on the heading selector. So now the airplane is turning left in order to line up with our runway. So we fly in this direction, then turning right to line up with our runway. Alright, that everything is working out now. I'm really excited for maybe 50 degrees was too much. Let me switch it for 70 degrees. 70 degrees. Now the airplane is turning right to go 70 degrees. Okay, perfect. Now we fly in this direction. Then once we reach this position, we turn right and we follow straight to our runway in Zurich, Switzerland. It's really important to reach the approach with the right speed. Why? Because if you are too fast, you will miss your approach completely. So never get to your approach position with a fast speed. Flying too fast, I mean. Because you won't miss your approach. If you miss it, you will have to go around and declare it publicly in the radio, so everybody around will listen Everybody in the same frequency, every airplane in the same frequency will listen to your this approach. So it's kind of a shame. Actually, it's not a shame, but one needs your approach. In real life, sometimes they miss, but it's not. You can avoid missing your approach by being by paying attention on what you have to do. Now I'm reducing speed for 190 knots in order to do not miss my approach. Alright, almost there. When I reach this point, I will turn to the right and then line up with the runway. So I will reduce speed once more to 150 knots. 150 knots. And also I will descend to 5,000 feet. By the way, I will descend for 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet right there. The rate in which you switch the altitude should be faster. It's way too slow. And then you turn the vertical speed and set the vertical speed, which is going to be less 1,200 feet per minute. Our descent speed. So now we are losing speed. We are getting slower. Losing speed, and we are also descending for 4,000 feet. Alright, let me see, right there. Now it's time to turn right and line up with our runway. Turn right 120 knots, 120 degrees. And then set flaps, full flaps. In real life, pilots never add full flaps at one time because it could damage your airplane. It could literally destroy your airplane. So always add flaps slowly. So now let's take a look if we are really lining. Perfect. We are really aligning with the runway. That's really good. So now, can you hear the beep? This beep means that we really will reach the ILS frequency. So now that we reach the ILS frequency, let's turn off the heading. Turn off the heading selector and then turn on the localizer selector. Because this localizer here is white, it means we are not still connected with the localizer signals yet. But once it turns green, it means that we are tuned with the localizer signals that comes from the antennas in the runway. And once it happens, then the airplane starts to follow the signal that comes from the antennas, and then the airplane basically can land itself automatically, which is really important in this kind of weather. This is really important. It's really important to prevent from bad weather, even if the weather is okay, even if you have blue skies and perfect visibility. You should tune to your IR frequency and be prepared for the worst situation. In case ever the weather changes very fast, and in case low visibility, you are tuned to your ILS frequency, then you are able to make an instrument landing system. It's going to be tough because we have strong wind. Take a look on this turbulence. It's going to be tough, no doubt. Now, the glide slope is saying that that is time for descent. So let's descend for 3,000 feet. 3,000, vertical speed. So this is the glide slope signal. Because it is in because it is below the horizon line, it means that we should be lower. And it's really important to keep the glide slope signal in the horizon line, in the middle here. It means that we are in the right altitude. So we still have no signal. The localizer is still white, it's not green yet. We still have no signal, even though we are so close. I don't understand for real. Alright, now we have signal. It turns green. It turns green right now, so now it's time to turn on the approach switch here. Turn on the approach switch. And then we have glide slope. But we don't have it. We don't have it because we have the altitude selected. Turn off the altitude, turn off the approach, turn on the approach. For localizer, glide slope signal not yet in reach. Let's get the landing gear down. Alright, we are way too high, so let me turn off the autopilot and land the airplane manually. Landing manually because we were too high. Clear. Too high. Very bad approach. Too fast right now. That's why we didn't have our glide slope signal, because we were too high. Reverse. Wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Wow, that was crazy. Wow, that wasn't good. That wasn't smooth. Wow, that wasn't smooth at all. Alright, that was our landing with this crazy weather. It was doing okay until I turned on the reverse, and then everything went out of control, but that's okay. I lost control in the final part of my landing, but that's what happens in real life when you lose. The first thing that went wrong was that I didn't pay attention to my altitude. Then I missed the glide slope signal. When I missed the glide slope signal, the airplane wasn't able to descend properly at the right altitude. Then I reached to to a point where I was too high, and then I had to turn off the autopilot and go down really fast, and go down really fast, and then that was the ending. I drift off the the runway because of the rivers, probably, and the wet runway, and I drifted off to the left, and I went into the grass. In real life, it could may have some trouble for the airplane, but that's okay. That was a good experience for the next try. That's it. Sometimes we can do it, sometimes we can't. But that's good to show how difficult it is to land an airplane. It's not so easy. It's not flight simulators. They are not really easy. They are really difficult as well. That's thousands of things that you have to pay attention. And because I forgot the altitude, the glide slope signal, the glide slope sign, I didn't pay attention to it on the screen. I missed my approach. I tried to force it, then I ended up drilling off the runway. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll try it again. I promise. I'll try it again, and of course I will press until I am able to land this airplane properly with that crazy weather, stormy weather, and do it perfect as a real pilot do it. So thanks for watching, guys. That was our crazy landing in stormy weather video, and that's it. See you next time.